Serve Monkey Coconut, Spring 2011 Garden Update Time. This is the real one. So today is April 8th. These plants are about 3 months old now. This is a Connecticut tobacco, and as you can see, we're still utilizing our windowsill greenhouse. We don't have an actual greenhouse, so it's not necessarily needed, but a greenhouse would be nice where you can start plants all year round, essentially. But you know, for our purposes, it's spring. It was a little cold outside. It was rainy. It was a terrible spring for Seattle. We hadn't had 2 consecutive days of sunlight ever this year until just this past weekend. So these plants are just loving it now, soaking it up, trying to gain any progress that it lost through the spring, all the cloudy days, all the cold, rainy days. But it's looking really nice out there. I think we will think about transplanting these outside very soon. But as you can tell, they're doing just fine now. So that's the time from our herb mix. Here is our Havana plant at 3 months old. All of these plants are 3 months. We sowed them all at the same time. This is Virginia, and you can see how quickly the tobacco grows. Well, you know, in comparison to maybe the thyme. And the tobacco is about, you know, say, this estimating maybe 1,000 times bigger than the initial seed was. You know, the first seed when it got sowed, it was this microscopic in there. But this is a, you know, at least 1,000 times, maybe even more than that. I can't do the calculation right now, but I'm sure surface area-wise, it's pretty big. You know, but given that, here's a cayenne pepper seed, plant, but you know, the seed was bigger than the tobacco. I'm just saying that tobaccos are indeed amazing. Okay, so this is our cayenne pepper plant in the windowsill. Funny thing about these plants is that obviously they're not getting a full 360-degree sunlight exposure, so they will lean towards the sun. You know, especially in a big window. This is a pretty tall window, but it still leans towards the sun, especially you know, when it's getting only half light. So what I like to do is every day, here you can see the bend of the top of the plant. Every day I like to just kind of give it a spin, so it'll even itself out through the day. I'll lean that way, and then it'll lean back the other way. You know, you just keep spinning it 180. And that's fine until you plant it outside for the actual full sun. It's still a little morning time right now, so the sun is still changing angles. It's still on the east side of the house, and it'll swing around to the south side in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go outside to show you the herb mix in just a second. Okay, so here we are on the outside deck herb garden, and as you can see, here's the herbs. They're, you know, I just kind of took the whole cells and just kind of separated the roots and just kind of did a whole mishmash of herbs in this, you know, railing garden here with no particular order. I can kind of tell on my own that, you know, kind of what they are. Basil, here's some lettuce, here's some dill, parsley. You know, so I'm just going to identify it by eye and go from there. The only thing I'm worried about is weed seeds going in here, and I hope I don't later on mistake that I'm eating a piece of lettuce when it's actually like some kind of milkweed or something. But there it is. Here's the earlier, just from the most recent clip. Here's the transplanted lettuce, again, the Ananui lettuce. But as you can see, they're not doing so well because of the weather we've been having. They are stunted. You know, even all these herbs here are pretty stunted just because of the weather. So I expect these to start taking off now that we're getting better weather and you know, a little more sunny. Here we can see the western sword ferns that I still haven't done anything with. Yeah, there's a little bit of gardener's burnout here. I have a lot of things going on, so I tend to ignore a lot of these plants, even ignoring posting the videos. So As long as there's a lot of summer left in the air, plants will wait a little while for you. You don't have to be so diligent where you plant things immediately as soon as they need to be. Even you could see the tobacco plants in there still should be transplanted probably today, but I just don't have the time for it. So, give yourself some leeway when you're doing that kind of stuff. Morning. Hey, morning. All right, so the milkman showed up, and yes, we actually get milk delivered here from Smith Brothers Farms. It's my wife's thing. We just kind of like to. It actually tastes a little better, and it's basically for the baby. So here we go. This is the herb garden again. So down here is our catnip, and it's actually doing really well. Catnip always does well. It grows like a weed out here, especially this Pacific Northwest type catnip that we have. A really good tip for these catnips is that if you want it to grow fuller and denser like a bush, the best idea to do is to pretend like you're a cat and actually give it a little bit of a hard time. If you ravage it a little bit, it'll grow even better, interestingly enough. So what I like to do is actually cut these onto nodes here. A node is where the leaves sprout out. Every stem has a part where it branches out into new leaves. Even this would be considered a node on this branch out here. But what I like to do is kind of cut the stem off every so often. So here I got a small knife, and I'm just gonna kind of cut that whole stem off. So here, it's kind of a wasted growth thing. I probably should have done it a little earlier, so it could have concentrated more energy on this. But now that I'm taking this off, what I can do is I'm actually going to dry this out for Sadie and give it to her, and she can play with this later. So your cat can enjoy your catnip plants while it's going along, but what's going to happen here is that it's going to start branching out sideways, and then these side branches are going to get stronger and start branching out from there. So I'm going to keep taking clips of that, and I probably should start doing the same for those plants as well. So I'll get to that in a little bit. Here's a commercially grown blueberry plant. We might try planting that down in the garden a little bit. And here's some flowers just to make the balcony look good. And getting back to that gardener's fatigue and the weather, this was actually, if you remember in the video, we transplanted 2 Ananui lettuces, and one, quite frankly, didn't make it. It's a goner. So it's been a tough spring for us, but some plants have prevailed, even though this one's growing sideways again. This is lettuce, so I'm not too concerned about it. So hopefully in a couple months, or maybe hopefully sooner than that, I'll post another video. Maybe 2 weeks I'll set as my goal. But hopefully we'll get a better better look at the herb garden here. Hopefully it'll be much fuller. And I'll give you an update on the lettuce, and I think that's it for now.